The Signia Active Pro IX, I wanted to share with you my first experience getting hands-on with them yesterday. So I was just preparing to go to Hampstead to do an earwax removal for a patient, checked my wax scope and discovered it was flat as a pancake. So yeah, that wasn't very helpful. So I did my backup plan of the Voratech head-worn microscope, but then realised if I've got some behind-the-ear hearing aids on, I'm probably going to be knocking them off or messing with them because it's a behind-the-ear device and I've got the spectacle-worn version. So what I did, I quickly programmed up the Active Pro IXs, and I've had some custom tips made for me by Aqua Shields, and it was my first opportunity just to see how they would work as an aid, and also the other functions such as making phone calls and listening to music. So quickly dialed up an Uber and got myself over there, had a good chat with the gentleman there, and when I got to the patient's home, I found that obviously having the aids in this position here meant there was no disturbance from taking the head-worn microscope on and off as I was dealing with my patient's earwax blockage. So first thing I did establish is I do prefer the wax scope, but there we go. You know, that's progress. So first thing I noticed is, yeah, the fit, because I've got quite bendy, awkward ears. I've had the Signia Actives before, the more basic version from many years ago. But what I did notice is people who were previously very resistant to wearing hearing aids, such as my old landlady when we had our clinic in Spanish Place in central London, she actively sort of ran away if I ever thought about, presenting the idea of wearing a receiver in the canal hearing aid, but actually stole the hearing aids out of my ear. So I had some white and rose gold Signia Actives, and never to be seen again. So they're now in her ears. So the first thing is they fit really, really well with these custom tips that have been made for me. So obviously a bespoke product. So that's a really nice sort of feature. And the comfort was great. In terms of, what they look like, I think they'd easily be mistaken for headphones. The second thing was the music listening experience. So I've used the BCT hearing aids, the Bluetooth connectivity transform receiver in the canal. They fit me equally well with the sleeves. However, what I would say is the streaming quality, because I'm using my S24 Ultra, which is on Android 15. I think I was one of the people who managed to download it before it got sort of taken back by Samsung. They've obviously got a bit more work to do. I think the LE audio really helps with the streaming sound quality. So I'll show you here, I listen to a bunch of different music and, TikTok lives and things. And yeah, the quality was not that far off a pair of decent headphones. So that's really something that I did enjoy. And eventually, after several hours of using it for that, I think I went up to bed and put my Samsung buds in. But what I did is I put them on charge, and the ultimate lazy sort of addition you can add is the Qi charger. So when you put it onto the charger, the case and the aids inside charge up. So if you that worn out from your day and you think, oh, I've got to take the aids out, you've got to put them in the charger, you've got to get the cable and plug it in, and that's all a bit too much, you can just simply pop it onto the charging sort of port plate or whatever you want to call it, the Qi charger, and off you go. So yeah, so great fit, great comfort, great cosmetics, excellent sound quality. I did call my young lady, check she could hear me. She could hear me fine. I could hear her just fine. So that was really good. No, didn't have an opportunity to sort of head out in terms of to a social engagement, but did that with the BCTs a couple of weeks ago, which I've not had a chance to post about. But what I really liked about that is it was to a 60th birthday party, and there was just one person I was having a little bit of a challenge hearing, and it was, it was a pretty noisy party. But what I did, I dialed the microphone into that super directional pattern, turned up the clarity, and the very polite but softly spoken gentleman I was having a chat with, I was then able to have a good conversation with him and understand what he was saying. So if you want something that's hidden in plain sight, comfortable, does a great job of streaming content, he's got a future Auracast update coming to give it even better functionality. I think you could certainly do a lot worse, and actually there isn't another rival product. So I always like it when manufacturers come out with something slightly left field that there isn't a natural rival to, because it keeps any choices quite minimal. So you either take it or you don't. And certainly compared to the old ones that I had, which were the basic models, there's probably about 5 or 6 different levels between them in terms of quality, was that you walk briskly down the hallway, you'd get a bit of wind noise. Certainly not the case with these. So that was it, just my initial thoughts of the Signia Active Pro IX and my experience using them. Hope this is helpful. Follow me for more.